Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching NDTV. The campaigning for the 7th phase of the Lok Sabha elections has come to an end. Voting in this final phase will take place on the 1st of June for the remaining 57 seats. Now, the counting of votes is scheduled on 4th of June. Now, phase 7, which will see the seats of Kolkata, Basirhat that captured news and the nation's imagination with the Sandeshkhali atrocities on women and the politics that played out. 6 seats in Odisha, all seats of Punjab and Himachal, and some very important seats in eastern UP, including Gorakhpur and Varanasi. This phase is extremely crucial for the BJP for a comfortable majority. The fight for 9 seats in Bengal and 6 in Odisha is particularly important because these are the 2 states that the BJP is hoping to make huge gains from. Punjab will also test the Congress party's strength in the face of a rising Aam Aadmi party in the state. And in Himachal, the party's performance is also key to the Congress party's government continuing in the state. Now, this phase is also critical for the opposition to restrict the BJP NDA to less than 300 seats, which means this phase could well decide the course of the 2024 elections. But what are the key contests, key narratives that played out in the last week of polls? That's what we will discuss tonight. Joining us is an esteemed panel of guests. But first, we're joined by reporters of NDTV who have been bringing you ground reports every day on this election campaign. Saurabh Gupta joins us from Kolkata. He has been tracking not just the BJP's roadshows, but also Mamata Banerjee's Padayatra today. And Tanishq, who joins us from Varanasi, the Prime Minister's constituency, where there's a high decibel campaign going on. To you, Saurabh, first. Today, Mamata Banerjee again had a Padayatra. This is a seat for the prestigious, this is a fight for the prestigious seats of Kolkata. And of course, this is also a fight by the BJP for acceptance in the Bhadralok community. But more than that, it's also the BJP trying to, make some sort of, get some acceptance for its own legacy. Because, there's Shyama Prasad Mukherjee. There's so much talk about Ramakrishna Mission. The Prime Minister himself is in Kanyakumari. How do you see this playing out in Bengal?
Well, different parties have deployed different narratives, and the BJP has deployed the narrative that it believes is best suited to its interests, and that to some extent has also caused polarization, and that polarization obviously is helping the BJP. There's no doubt about that. But beyond that, what the Trinamool Congress is focused on is mostly on its schemes, and one of the schemes that you cannot ignore and which has had an impact on the ground is Lokhir Bhandar, which is of course the state government scheme that gives a stipend to women, and it's 1,000 rupees for women of the general category and 1,200 for women from SCs and STs. So in this context, really, that is something that really is a constituency that Mamata Banerjee has worked towards retaining strongly with her, and that's the women votes. But the BJP has tried to dent that by bringing in issues like Sandeshkhali. But Sandeshkhali, while it did pick up earlier, it kind of, lost steam once those sting operations came out. And the whole movement, in that sting operation that the Trinamool Congress also held a press conference on, suggested that it was, that some of it could have been designed by the BJP. And statements from local leaders caught on that sting operation was something that really didn't perhaps get the Sandeshkhali issue as much steam as the BJP would have liked it to have. And it kind of petered out because towards the end you saw even the Prime Minister, while he did mention it in many rallies, it didn't become the central focus. Next, what became the central focus was the Ramakrishna Mission, the Mamata Banerjee's comments on Ramakrishna Mission and all of that. So yes, while initially Sandeshkhali seemed to have been an issue, no longer towards the end, Lokhir Bhandar has remained an issue all through the election, and it's a strong point of the Trinamool. For the BJP, it has other issues that it had banked on. For example, the issues of welfare schemes of the centre that it tried to publicize. But otherwise, it's mostly, the Prime Minister versus Mamata Banerjee. It's a battle of personalities. And Abhishek Banerjee has mentioned this several times in his campaign speeches, that what the Trinamool played it as is Modi's guarantees versus Mamata Banerjee's guarantees. And, the Trinamool Congress said it was a 420 guarantee. So it was a very bitter campaign also in those terms. But finally, campaigning has ended. Silence periods for political parties. And one only hopes that some, we journalists also get a silence period.
Thank you, Saurabh, for joining us with those details. I think that there is time for that. But yes, that's a very important point. It's Modi's guarantees versus Mamta's welfare. Both governments have had some sort of a legacy and history in giving out welfare benefits. And we'll have to wait and watch as to whose benefits are clicking more with people. Tanishq, you are in probably the most important part of the country, Purvanchal. And, a lot of eyes are on this part of Uttar Pradesh because unlike Harit Pradesh, Purvanchal is also seen as, less backward. I mean, like in the sense more backward, and of course it also has a lot of problems with respect to social growth. Now tell me, but this is also a place which is known for social alliances, small parties, Apna Dal, Nishad party coming together, sort of making a difference politically. So how are both parties, both alliances, the SP Congress alliance and also the BJP alliance, BJP, looking at something like this, because the Prime Minister is himself leading a high decibel campaign? There is that also in some ways mobilizing BJP cadre in this part of Uttar Pradesh.
Well, of course, yes, Vasudha, you rightly said, this part, Purvanchal, the eastern Uttar Pradesh, this is where the alliances, especially the NDA alliances of Uttar Pradesh, the alliances of BJP in Uttar Pradesh come into play, especially party like Apna Dal or Nishad party over here, because, there's one interesting battle over here, that is of Mirzapur, Raja Bhaiya, who was seemingly, in support of BJP, although he is independent. His MLAs are independent. He was seen as someone who is supporting in the BJP, especially when the Rajya Sabha elections took place. But he's actually campaigning against Apna Dal's Pallavi Patel. So of course, in fact, Akhilesh Yadav in also one of his rallies said that आप जिसको समझते थे वो हमारे साथ नहीं, अब आपको यकीन है कि वो हमारे साथ है. So of course, the alliances come in forefront in this phase. But of course, apart from that the key focus is on Varanasi seat. Around 1 lakh party workers were, party members were working in Varanasi for Prime Minister Narendra Modi. That was, I was told, by the BJP media office here in Varanasi. And of course, we saw high decibel campaigning over here. There was Devendra Fadnavis who visited one of the mutts. Today it was Smriti Irani, JP Nadda, Amit Shah. All the big guns were present here to campaign in favor of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. But at the same point of time, the India bloc is also trying to give a very tough fight for the BJP. Of course, they are somehow sure that they are going to win. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will win, but they want the win to be of a record victory, a record margin win. But at the same point of time, in Uttar Pradesh, Priyanka Gandhi had a major role while campaigning. She was seen campaigning in Amethi and Raebareli, and she also held a joint roadshow with Dimple Yadav in Varanasi. And then Rahul Gandhi and Akhilesh Yadav also held a public meeting here. So of course, very interesting, most watched out battle here in Varanasi. Of course, it has become one of the key focuses across all the seven phases, and of course, particularly this 7th phase as well.
Right. Thank you, Tanishq, and thank you, Saurabh Gupta, for joining us with those details, and all the best covering the last phase of polls on the 1st of June. Also joining us now is Amitabh Tiwari, also who's a data expert and political and social commentator, also an author. Sir, thank you so much for joining NDTV. Now tell me, sir, I saw your article and you talked about how this phase of elections is extremely important because you compared numbers with last time, 2019, and you talked about how this phase is what propelled the BJP to the comfortable majority it has. So can you tell me what are the key contests and key key numbers that sort of reflect the importance of the last phase of elections? 57 seats to go to polls here. The Kolkata city seats are also part of this, and of course 6 seats of Odisha and 13 seats of Purvanchal.
Yeah. So essentially, the BJP won 25 of these 57 seats in 2019. The NDA won 30. However, if you see in West Bengal, the BJP could not win even a single seat out of the 9 seats. And this is where the TMC got lead, the Kolkata or the presidency area or the southeast region. And even in Odisha, the BJP could win 2 of the 6 seats which are going to polls. Now you have a tricky state in Punjab where there are 13 seats which BJP won 2, but there is a quadrangular contest, largely between Aam Aadmi Party, Congress, Akali Dal, and BJP hopes to do well on the Hindu-dominated seats. If the Sikh vote gets split, then probably the BJP hopes that they could win a few extra seats here as well. So by phase 6, if you see, in 2019, the BJP had won 278 seats, which means that phase 7 is fairly crucial. 5-10 seats here and there, which means that this election could actually move also into phase 7, as is being discussed.
Right.
So that's why it is very crucial, and two states where the BJP hopes to make gains, Odisha and West Bengal, are here. That's why we've seen a charged up campaign from the Prime Minister in both the states, because here is where the BJP needs to gain seats this time.
Right. And also tell us specifically about Bengal and Odisha. These are non-India bloc parties, and these are also strong regional parties. The BJP made huge gains here in 2019 as well, and this time it's hoping to in some ways double its, at least improve by at least 2-3%, increase 18 seats in Bengal to at least 23 seats, and 8 seats in Odisha to at least 16 seats. Tell us, what are the challenges that the BJP faces in both of these states?
If we talk about Odisha, since Odisha is having or holding a simultaneous election, the party which does well in simultaneous election automatically will do well in Lok Sabha. Now the BJP realizes this. There was a certain extent of split voting which happened in 2019, but the 8 seats which BJP won were largely urban or semi-urban areas where there is people are aware that these two elections are different. That's why if you see, so now the BJP has gone back to the table and made a strategy. That's why we've seen they have upped the ante in the Vidhan Sabha. Unless they do well in the Vidhan Sabha election, they will not be sure of getting 15-16 seats in the Lok Sabha. That's why we've seen the Prime Minister or the Home Minister personally targeting Naveen Babu. He hitting back at the allegations. So there the Vidhan Sabha election has also heated up, because if you do well in Vidhan Sabha, you will do well in Lok Sabha. In West Bengal, this is the phase where TMC gained lead, otherwise BJP was in lead till phase 6. This is a phase also where Mamata Banerjee has contested in Lok Sabha earlier. Somehow this is the region which is the presidency region, or you can call it the Bhadralok region, where BJP has not been able to make gains. Even their state leadership like Suvendu Adhikari or Dilip Ghosh have not been able to make gains in this region. Party hopes that the Sandeshkhali incident, which is also voting, and the implementation of the CAA galvanizes some votes, because here polarization will also be important, because there are pockets of high Muslim population also in these 9 seats. And wherever BJP faces a strong leader, we've seen that it faces challenges. So all these things will be there.
And in Bhawanipur, the BJP has also been talking about how Bhawanipur also presented a lead in 2019, and that's the Chief Minister's own constituency. And there's also this number of Hindi-speaking voters. But like you rightly said, this is probably the most challenging phase for the BJP in Bengal. Another key state, Punjab, is crucial, as the party won 8 of the 13 seats in 2019, Congress Party, and the Congress Party in fact had a vote share of 40.12%. So is that something that the Congress Party will hold on to? What are the challenges that you see, considering that it's a 4-cornered contest in Punjab?
No, see, in Punjab what is for sure is that the Congress Party is not going to hold on to the 8 seats. Now largely whatever Aam Aadmi Party is likely to gain is likely to come at the expense of Congress Party, because that's how their vote share has also increased. We have to see whether the Akali Dal, which also won 2 seats, and the BJP, which won 2 seats, are also able to hold on to their seats or not, because BJP is largely focusing on Amritsar and Gurdaspur, Hoshiarpur, which they have won in the past. So if the Akali Dal manages to significantly split the Sikh vote in the rural areas, then it is very difficult to say which party will emerge victorious, because then in a 4-way contest, even with a 25%, 30% vote share, a party can win the elections. So here the elections could go down to the wire. BJP is playing the hypocrisy of the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress, where they are fighting together in Delhi and separately here. So we'll have to see. But however, Punjab is a hub of anti-center politics. Somehow people vote against Delhi. So the major gains could be with AAP and Congress.
Right. Thank you so much, Amitabh Tiwari, for joining us with those excellent insights. Also joining us now is Mohan Kumaramangalam of the Congress Party. We have Shazia Ilmi of the BJP and Riju Datta of the TMC. Starting with you, Riju Datta, because Kolkata is all set to vote. How much, your government has been on the back foot in the last few years? Because, we saw Sandeshkhali come up. So many women actually came up and talked about sexual abuse. We also saw corruption charges against some of your senior ministers. How much of your narrative, the TMC's narrative that the BJP is Bangla Virodhi, do you think is going to resonate with people this time? Because last time the BJP surprised everybody with 18 seats and reduced your party to 22.
Sandeshkhali, let me start off one by one. Sandeshkhali is a concocted conspiracy by the BJP, which is now exposed. And rather than going into whataboutery or rhetorics, because it's the last day of campaign, I personally have done more than 60 campaigns. I'm telling you this, from Sandeshkhali, it's just a matter of few days on 4th June when the result will be out. From the Sandeshkhali constituency where the MLA is, Trinamool will get a lead from there, and Sandeshkhali is part of the Basirhat constituency. And please save this particular bit on NDTV, and I'll see you on 4th of June. Basirhat constituency, where Sandeshkhali is, Trinamool Congress will win with a margin of almost 3 lakh votes. Point number one. Point number two, today, the last day of the campaign, our leader, Mamata Banerjee, our chairperson, our supreme leader, she did a 12-kilometer road show where she walked on the road with the people of Bengal, with the people of Calcutta, and she has done it under 3 hours. And she was not on any car flipping around a Chinese toy. So the connect with Mamata Banerjee is on the ground. As you know, it's a Mahamati Manush Sarkar we have here. 9 places are going to polls tomorrow, day after tomorrow, sorry. All 9 we won in 2019, and we will win all the 9 again. One thing I wanted to tell your viewers today, and just remind your viewers, that in 2021 Vidhan Sabha elections in Bengal, I have the picture here. I don't know whether you can show it or not, whether you can zoom it or not. This is the exit poll for West Bengal by all channels, the exit poll for West Bengal, if you see. And if you see that, all the so-called psephologists, and with all due respect to them, nobody gave Trinamool Congress more than 170. What did Trinamool Congress end up with? 230. So with all due respect, again I'm saying, BJP is a strong force, but what we feel now is that in Bengal, BJP is going down, the left is surging up, but Trinamool Congress is winning. And like my National General Secretary has said, I am not going to be a psephologist and give you numbers, but like my National General Secretary said, out of the 33 seats which has already gone to polls and the voting is done, Trinamool Congress has won 23 seats already. Next 9, you will see the result on 4th.
Okay. Shazia, would you like to...
22 was our last number. We will increase that.
I would like to come in.
Shazia, would you like to respond to that? Because Sandeshkhali still remains in...
Basura, 5 more seconds.
Also, Riju,
let me come in. You can answer later on because I have to go for other show now. I just want to say, Vasudha, see, it's very interesting that every time you ask questions on Sandeshkhali, my good friend here, Riju, obfuscates and he goes hither and thither. And instead of talking about Lok Sabha elections, which this indeed is, he goes back to Vidhan Sabha and keeps counting and recounting and recollecting the memories of Vidhan Sabha without really getting into details of what would happen and what is happening on the ground, how there is a tectonic shift in favor of BJP and how completely beleaguered Mamata ji is. So, Riju, you know and we know that the power of a simple woman, Rekha Patra, who has been wronged by your candidate, by your MLA, it is her power against the rest, the might of the TMC and all the goons. And I think it's going to be a resounding victory, fantastic numbers for BJP in West Bengal. Odisha again, you will be surprised with the fantastic gains we will make there. And as for Punjab, because there is a four-cornered contest, and not just that, it's also BSP, which is in the running in many parts.
Right.
You will realize that BJP will do very, very well. And this will be this will be yet another exciting phase for BJP.
Shazia, one question for you. While we talk about Sandeshkhali, Mamata Banerjee has also come up with this promise of Lakshmi Bhandar, and like Narendra Modi, even Mamata Banerjee has this legacy of welfare, right? So isn't that one thing that would probably also be a challenge for your party to counter?
No, but welfare at what cost? Welfare at the cost of appeasement, welfare at the cost of development, welfare at the cost of criminality and hooliganism. So it is also that is a huge factor, and in fact, even now and for the last many years, you realize that in Bengal, if you see the highest number of violence that goes on, it's West Bengal. No Congress state or BJP state can even claim to be as violent in terms of how the cadres operate and work.
Riju,
so that
quickly
is a big
respond to
factor.
that before I go to Mohan Kumar Mangalam. He's been waiting for a long time.
Yeah, I know. See, in these 6 phases, the day after tomorrow is the 7th phase. I'm very happy, and it is not just the credit of Trinamool Congress, it is the credit of all political parties in Bengal that we had not a single incident of violence in Bengal during these 7-phase elections. So that is good for the state, and we hope that continues, and the credit goes to everybody. I'm not just taking the credit for them.
Right. Mohan, how do you...
With all due respect, all the best to Shazia ji also. I just want to tell Shazia ji
all the best to you.
That come 4th of June, when the results are out, yes, all the best. When the results are out, if Trinamool Congress wins from Sandeshkhali, will Shazia ji put her hand up and say, we were wrong about Sandeshkhali because this is the people's mandate?
Okay.
And if I am wrong, I will put my hand up and
promise you
say
one thing. Riju, I promise you one thing. None of us will be crying over the EVM. Or complaining about the EC.
Trinamool Congress does not.
We will not be doing that. That's for sure.
Trinamool Congress does not cry over EVM.
No matter what.
Let's talk about the Congress, which, I mean, Mohan, how do you see this fight in Bengal and Odisha? Does it feel probably like, Mamata Banerjee should have been part of the India alliance because, she's still, a stronger force there. And also in Odisha, today Rahul Gandhi was there in Odisha and he said a lot of things, but you just won 1 seat in 2019. Is that one state that you probably think you could have reached out to BJD like, earlier because, the alliance, of course, did not work out between them and also West Bengal?
So I never saw the alliance between BJD and BJP fructifying because it would be the number 1 and number 2 align in a state, which is exactly why Aam Aadmi Party and Congress did not ally in Punjab. Those things never happened because neither party would want to cede the space they've established. Now, I think I'd love to talk about Purvanchal because between the last phase and this phase, this is probably one of the most important sections of the election for the Congress SP alliance, which if you look at the assembly segments that went, I think SP won about 45 out of the 135 or so seats, assembly segments that have gone to parliament polls in that last phase and this phase. So this is actually ground zero a lot of ways for BJP. Because if they're not able to make up the numbers that they're going to lose, where they were saturated in the north and the west, if they're not going to make up the numbers in Purvanchal, if they're not going to make up the numbers in Odisha or West Bengal, and they're not going to be able to hold on to the numbers they had in UP, then they're going to be in real trouble. So that phase that just completed and this last phase that we're going to is extremely important, I would say. Because that is what would tilt the favor, tilt the balance one way or the other in this election.
Right.
Now, as far as West Bengal goes, I agree with Riju. I think Sandeshkhali was an issue that the BJP wanted to take up and wanted to make it. They wanted to make it their poll plank for this election, but it didn't work out when it came out after the stings that the entire thing was fabricated. As far as whether Mamata Banerjee ji is going to be in the India alliance or not, even if she isn't in the India alliance or the India bloc going into the polls or contesting, I can say safely, and I'm sure Riju will back me up on this, that in any post-poll formation, she would be on this side of the aisle and not on the other side.
Well, absolutely, Mohan. But the politics of Sandeshkhali may have played out, but accusing 100 women of taking money and lying is something that, I wouldn't believe as a woman. But Shazia, would you like to respond to this? Because there are also, the predictability of this election was so much that everybody thought maybe 300 par is something that is going to set the tone. But Maharashtra and Bihar have come up as battleground states, as states where the opposition seems far more optimistic than, your party. Did your party anticipate this?
No, I think BJP is very thorough and very meticulous in which it plans, right from the at all levels. If you look at it vertically or horizontally, it is pretty well covered. It covers its agents, booths, every Panna Pramukh knows exactly what's happening on the ground. So I think we're very sure and very confident that in these Lok Sabha elections, when people go out to vote and they want to vote for a Prime Minister, a strong government, it will be no one else but Modi. And of course, nobody even knows who the other person would be.
Okay.
But it is clearly Prime Minister Modi and his guarantee and his name and the complete credibility the man commands.
Okay, I'm out of time, but Riju, quickly, of the 9 seats, how many will the TMC won?
9 we won last time. We are going to win 9 this time. One more thing, in Trinamool Congress and Mamata Banerjee is an integral part of India Alliance, and we stand resolute with the India Alliance.
Okay, thank you so much, all three of you, for joining me on this show. I'm sorry, I'm out of time completely. The campaigning for the 7th phase of the Lok Sabha elections has ended today. Voting in this final phase will take place on the 1st of June for 57 seats, and the counting will be done on the 4th of June.